Hello and welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Television. With you, your host, Cindy, with most important events of the day. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Aliyev, received Minister for European Neighborhood and the Americas at the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, Wendy Morton.
Welcoming the Minister for European Neighbourhood and Americas at the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, Wendy Morton, President İlham Aliyev expressed his confidence that this visit will be very successful with very good results. It once again demonstrates strong partnership relationship between our countries and of course our future plans to continue our cooperation. We have very good political contacts, very active political dialogue, and your visit to Azerbaijan once again demonstrates that. Of course, energy cooperation is a very important part of our partnership, and we are very happy to complete the major project, the 1,000 gas corridor, stated the head of state. Saying that BP, the company which participated from the very beginning in the major projects in Azerbaijan as an investor, is a strategic partner of Azerbaijan, the president added that after the prolongation of the contract of the century, the cooperation with this company will continue for many more decades. Of course, with the new gas development in Azerbaijan and an infrastructure which has been completed last December, we have new opportunities now. We hope that there will be more discoveries from BP-operated fields. We have good prospects for that, stated the president, and added that this was a very important part of bilateral cooperation. Stressing that unique format of cooperation between the countries in the region and the European Union was established, and this was strongly supported by the governments of the United Kingdom and the United States, the head of state underlined that during the 7th meeting of the Advisory Council of the 1,000 gas corridor, the achievements will be reviewed and the parties will be looking forward for future cooperation. Emphasizing that investments from UK to Azerbaijan helped a lot to modernize the country, and these investments were mainly in energy sector, almost $30 billion, the head of state said it allowed them to use properly the revenues from oil and gas sales to diversify the economy. Therefore, I am sure that for the coming years, our major area of concentration will be non-energy sector development of Azerbaijan. I looked at some of information before our meeting, so that almost 600 British companies registered in Azerbaijan, and this is a really good sign of diversification of our economic partnership. In the liberated territories, we have great potential for reconstruction, and we already started our contacts with British companies. One of them is involved in the city planning in the development of infrastructure on the liberated territories. And I hope there will be more, because a lot of things has to be done there. Everything is destroyed, said the president. Touching on the big potential in renewable energy and stressing that there is interest from British companies to work on these issues, the head of state said there was a big potential of solar, wind, hydro energy. We are already planning our future in the liberated territories, and I already declare these territories as a green zone territory. So we will use the power of wind, sun and water in order to supply the needs of the people. We already became an exporter of electric energy, therefore potential for that is really very high. And also many other areas of cooperation between our countries have great importance. Once again, welcome to our country, said President İlham Aliyev. Minister for European Neighbourhood and the Americas at the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, Wendy Morton, thanked the President and added that besides the point which had been made about the bilateral relationship, there were so many areas where both parties worked together. The sides exchanged views on the post-war situation, application of the green energy concept in the liberated territories, development of civil society, gender equality, and cooperation in the field of energy, including in renewable energy.
Minister for European Neighbourhood and the Americas at the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, Wendy Morton, was at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Minister Ceyhun Bayramov, speaking about the situation in the region, provided information about the implementation of the trilateral statements dated November 10, 2020 and January 11, 2021. It was emphasized that based on the trilateral statements, the opening of transport and communication lines, as well as laying out of a new transport corridor, will serve the provision of progress and normalization of relations between the peoples in the region. It was brought to the attention that the negative rhetoric displayed by some people in Armenia did not serve to the normalization of relations. Minister for European Neighborhood and the Americas, Wendy Mortant, said they were ready to assist Azerbaijan's demining efforts. The importance of cooperation in this area of the development of green energy and measures against the climate change were emphasized. The press service of the Azerbaijani Prosecutor General's office reported that since November 10, 2020, 5 servicemen and 9 civilians had been killed, and 52 servicemen and 8 civilians had been wounded in mine explosions on the liberated territories. It's emphasized that legal measures will be taken against those illegally visiting liberated territories before the demining process ends. It is unfortunate that despite repeated warnings, people are still being killed or seriously injured by landmines in the liberated areas. The Ministry of Interior appealed to the citizens. According to the press service, employees of the relevant state structures, including the internal affairs bodies, are taking the necessary proactive preventive measures. Persons who illegally cross the territory are identified and administrative measures are taken against them in accordance with the requirements of the law. Currently, mine clearance cooperation in the liberated territories continues. Therefore, citizens are once again urged to refrain from such trips until the completion of mine clearance operations. The Defense Ministry released video footage from Mollalar village of Agdam district. The name of the place means belonging to genus of Molla. The village occupied by the Armenian armed forces in 1993 was handed over to Azerbaijan in accordance with the trilateral statement of November 10, 2020. A visit of mass media representatives to military units of the missile artillery troops of Azerbaijan army was organized. As part of the visit, media representatives got acquainted with the military personnel and modern artillery pieces, as well as observed the fulfillment of the practical tasks.
The complex combat training level of units, the ability to solve assigned tasks in a short period of time, and maneuverability were demonstrated in practice. Command of Missile and Artillery Forces of the Azerbaijani Army, Amir Sultanov, said that currently they were analyzing the progression of war. He also emphasized that pros and cons of the war were being identified. All of them were taken into account during combat training. Self-propelled vehicles and rocket launchers provided fire support to our subunits that successfully passed a dangerous mountainous forest terrain, which led to the liberation of Shusha from the occupation. Operational plans of the enemy were breached and defeated by precise strikes of long-range missile systems, divisions of operational, tactical and rocket artillery. About 4,000 servicemen of the artillery forces who demonstrated bravery and high professionalism in this war were awarded with various orders and medals, including the title of Hero of the Patriotic War. During the war, 184 artillerists were killed and several were wounded. May Allah rest the soul of our martyrs in peace and heal the wounded. As it is known, after the Patriotic War ended, Azerbaijani Army, in accordance with the combat training plan approved by the Defense Ministry, is currently undergoing combat training in the territories liberated from the occupation. The artillery forces are undergoing training in the same manner and are mastering state-of-the-art weaponry. During the counterattack on September 27th, our artillery units deployed in the battle shocked the enemy by inflicting heavy losses on the enemy situated deep inside with fire strikes. In the first day, about 500 enemy targets were eliminated by artillery subunits. During the Patriotic War, more than 380 enemy artillery mounts were destroyed by artillery troops alone.
164 infections with the novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 330 people recovered after treatment and were released home. 2 people who earlier tested positive for COVID-19 died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 231,362, with 225,678 recoveries and 3,163 deaths. The number of active infections is 2,521. To detect new infection cases over the past day, 6,960 tests and overall 2,463,610 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan, the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That is all for the day. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.